On October 3rd, Inter Miami captured its first MLS trophy. In a game that had everything you could have hoped for what was, or looked like, an early MLS Cup final. It had Messi magic, back-to-back goals to start the second half, two penalties in favor of Columbus, the last one in the 83rd minute, saved by Drake Callender. But what's next? Well, now that we've won the MLS Supporters Shield, we'll be playing our last regular season game in front of our fans against New England Revolution for a chance to beat the MLS regular season points record, which currently sits at 71 points. Later this month, on October the 26th, we'll be starting our playoff journey for what is really the second time in our short history. Technically, we made it to the playoffs, or should I say play-in 2020, but as I mentioned, a play-in for the expanded playoffs due to COVID. I don't really count that as a playoff. Inter Miami won't be the only team who will be starting the playoffs in late October, as our second team, Inter Miami 2, made the playoffs, the MLS Next Pro playoffs, for the first time in its short history. The league started in 2022. They qualified as the third seed in the East, and they'll face off against Philadelphia Union at home. And sticking to Fort Lauderdale sports, Fort Lauderdale United, a women's team participating in the inaugural season of the USL Super League, recorded its first ever home win and its first ever home game after 4 consecutive road trips. They currently sit second in the standings, second out of 8 teams that are participating. And while we're at it, I thought it could be a good idea to check how Miami FC is doing in the USL Championship. But, yeah. Moving on to other MLS news. Austin FC finally fired their manager, Josh Wolf, after only being able to make the playoffs once in their last 4 seasons. They entered the league in 2021, managed to get to the playoffs in 2022, be it conference final, so they did a pretty good run, losing to eventual winners, LAFC. But still, if you only make the playoffs once in your last 4 seasons, I think it's a good reason to fire the manager. Another team that fired the manager and got a good coach, I guess, was Chicago, who are in a way worse situation than pretty much any team in Major League Soccer. They hired Greg Berhalter, former US Mentee manager before Pochettino. And I'm curious to see where he leads Chicago, because it's a team that has not been in the playoffs for 7 years straight, and even worse, have only made the playoffs once in like 15 seasons. They've only made the playoffs once, so that is very, very bad for one of the older MLS teams. And they had a great expansion season in 1998, but they've been, you could say, pretty bad since then. It's been well over a decade since Chicago has been able to compete for a trophy, let alone win one. So, yeah, really interested to see how this team might change under Greg Berhalter.